Hello? Hello? Can you hear me now? That is so strange. Sorry, checking everything. Hello, hello. Yes, there we go. Hello, hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Coffee with the Council. How's everybody? Hello, April. Thanks, Catherine. It's weird because every once in a while, OBS, which is the streaming software that I use, will not acquire the connection to my beautiful microphone here. And then then you guys won't hear me. So there will be no sound. Isn't that funny? Hi, Amy. Hello from Asheville. First time joining us. Yay. Amy's a firstie. Everybody welcome Amy as a first timer. We call them firsties here on My Lives. Welcome to us, Amy. Welcome to My Lives. Welcome to me. Welcome to our community. It's lovely to have you here. Let's see who else. What else do we have? I'll try and push this up a little bit higher. There we go. Hi, Rose. Yes, first time with you as well. Felt deeply called to be here and have many questions. Everybody welcome Rose. She's another firstie. Hello. Welcome to the fold. Welcome to our lovely space. I hope you enjoy today. We have been I'll explain shortly what we've been doing. We're watching replay videos from April, from the April live streams that I've been doing. So wonderful to have you here. Hello, Johnny. Good to see you again. Welcome. Thank you, April. Isn't this lovely? Here, I'm going to let you guys just sort of bask in the beauty of this background for a moment. Isn't that just amazing? This is one of the most serene and beautiful and slightly artistic virtual backgrounds that I have. It's truly one of my top favorites. Hello, hello. Who else is here today? Hey, Tatiana, good to see you. Welcome to you, my dear. How are you? Wonderful. Hey, Ro, welcome, welcome. Thank you so much. Hey, Jerry, hi. It is cherry blossoms, Jerry. At first, I thought it was snow, but if you look really closely, there they go. There's one. Boop, they're cherry blossoms that are floating off of the trees in the background. Isn't that beautiful? I love it. Hello, Amber. Welcome to you. How's everybody today? Cherry blossoms. Yes. I'm glad you were able to make it too, Tatiana. Today's live is very, very special. When we experienced this journey in April, which this is the replay from the April 11th live stream. This was incredibly powerful. I think a number of people, Gwen, Carrie, a few others, had real breakthrough moments, real ahas from this journey. So I'm really looking forward to revisiting this journey with everybody today. And once again, I get to go on the journey with you as a participant instead of as a leader. You're welcome, Rose. She says, thank you for the warm welcome. I was sending you a message before this event started. I've just recently become aware of the Galactic Council. Can you communicate with them? Do you follow the GFL station on YouTube? One of their recent messages seemed like it was channeled personally for me. When we're in a certain vibrational place or a certain place of receptivity, a message can often feel like it is, even though it is a group message, energetically speaking, it can still be specifically for you. I do not follow whatever that is, the GFL station on YouTube, and I'm not in touch with the Galactic Council, whatever that is. My group is the Council of Seven. Spell it out for you. Council of Seven. They came to me a little bit over a year ago, April 27th-ish or so. And they are a multitude of beings from all different places, different timelines, different energies, different vibrations, different civilizations on other worlds. Some of them have had incarnations on Earth, and some are ascended masters. They don't individually identify to me, so I don't know who they are individually because as a collective being, the council is really what they represent. And they represent 7 distinct energies and vibrations, frequencies, if you will, that are essential for the spiritual evolution of humanity. The first of which is love, and the second of which is unity. So they're a very fun-loving, celebratory, wise, and a little goofy, kind of like me. They're a very beautiful group of guides. And so I hope that you enjoy what we have today. Yes, the frequency of love. How's everybody's day? I'm on the tired side. It has been meetings for the last 3 days. And so today I rested in the morning. I love my mornings. And I just sort of slowly prepared for the live stream today. In fact, I only just finished meditating. Normally I meditate earlier in the morning, but that's just how my flow went today. So I only just finished meditating. So I'm in a very sweet, warm, and centered spot right now. And I'm looking forward to spending the next hour with all of you. And I have some fun new toys that Insight Timer gave us today. The first of which is, if you have never followed me, oops, how's this work? There we go. If you've never followed me, there you go. Easy way to follow. I just have to pop up a little card that lets you actually click on it and follow. So this is a really cool new feature. There's some other things that you'll be seeing, other cards that pop up. Oh, la, la. Yeah, really, really fun stuff. New tools for us teachers to interact with you guys. So of course, you can still always tap on a teacher's bubble wherever it is on the screen now, and go through that and try and do the follow. But now that we have these fun little cards that we can pop up on the screen, we can make it easy for you. Yes, fancy in simple, says Amber. I agree. LOL. Love it. Yes. So I am shooting for, we actually as a community are shooting for 1,000 followers by June 1st. So if you haven't followed yet, if you're wanting to wait and see how this session goes, if you're a firstie and you want to follow later, that's fine too. But I'm really looking forward. I am, Jerry. I'm getting really close and it's very exciting. I had originally wanted to reach that last December, but my life got very complicated with all the different semi-regular transitions I was going through. But now that I am stable, have a home, settled in, happy and carefree, it is definitely a fun little goal if the universe decides to bring us to that place. Anyways, for those who are first timers, my name's Greg Phillips. Welcome to you. I'm a way shower and a champion for your aha moments. Aha moments are one of my absolute favorite experiences personally in my life, but I call myself a champion for your aha moments because I really love to inspire and spark those breakthroughs, those new ways of thinking or seeing something, those wow. And what I also love to do is really not just inspire them, but I love to witness them and celebrate them with you, because I feel like aha moments are the spice of my life, or one of the spices of my life. And so I want to celebrate, witness, and honor them when you have them too, because every time we have an aha moment, my friends, every single time we have one, no matter how big or small it is, we're actually breaking through to who we truly are. We're expanding and reinforcing our connection to source and to all that is. And they're just lovely. They're yummy. They're juicy. They're delicious. And that's so super cool. Yes, Jerry, I have landed. I am in Southern Utah. As you can see, actually, from the where'd the pop-up go? There's the postcard. See, I'm in St. George, Utah, Southern Utah. Very cool. How are you guys? What's going on today? How are you feeling? How's your day before we get into the replay? Do tell me. I love to hear. Carrie's better today. Sorry I missed yesterday. I bet you were busy, indeed. The morning walks are amazing. Yeah, they are. I'm still adjusting to what they're like here, because they're very different than any other place I've been so far. But the mountains and the red rocks are incredibly inspiring. I have a mountain very similar to this one just north of my house, and when the weather's just right, even in the beautiful climate, it'll have the snow on the top, and it's really pretty neat. Amber says, achy and tired, grateful to gather here. Wonderful, Amber. Very, very cool. Hi, Heidi. Good to see you again. Sorting space, going through 20-year-old stuff, junk. Oh, are you doing like a decluttering, a clearing thing? Yeah, the surroundings are amazing, Amber. Yay! Heidi's doing a clearing, decluttering, clearing work. That for some people, that could be very challenging. It is not an issue for me because I live very lightly and very simply. Although every once in a while, I do need to declutter and clear my space. Hello, Jennifer. Welcome to you. Your timing is perfect. We're about to start the replay. How are you? Are CD-ROM games even usable? My boys now grown use. Oh. I guess if you have a CD player, maybe. Yeah, I mean, if a computer has a DVD CD player that can use them, sure, but most games are digitally downloaded these days. Yeah. Jennifer's a little down today, but getting better. Oh, you are. Okay. Holding you in our hearts. And you are getting better. You are better. You already are better. You're receiving it slowly and gently. You've been resting. Yay. I love resting. For those who are familiar with human design, I'm a projector. Projectors require a lot of rest and relaxation, and I throw in recreation in there. So R&R is absolutely important. And for projectors, the energy type of projector, rest, relaxation, and recreation are actually part of our productivity because we connect more with just being than doing. It's very, very cool. Yes, it has to be. Wonderful. All right, my friends, 13 minutes in. Are you ready? Let's get started. I'm still trying to figure out where the bubbles went. A fellow teacher has told me that they've returned somewhere, but I can't see any bubbles floating around, which is okay. I've gotten used to not seeing them. Jennifer's a manifester with a splenic design. I love human design too. I'm an emotional projector with a 1-3 profile. Jennifer says top right corner is what I've been told. Not for me. Well, of course they're going to be for you because you're participating, but this interface, I haven't figured out where they live. And I'm on a laptop, so my screen real estate is limited, but we won't worry about it. And maybe it's a browser issue. Anyways, we won't worry about it. Because what I really like to focus on is chit-chatting with you guys. So if you talk in chat and say hi, then I get to interact with you. Oh, yours changed the chat from left to right bottom. Well, isn't that interesting? All right, my dear friends, let's get into it. Let's see what we got here. Setting up the fade over. Awesome. So, in April, for those who are firsties, in April, we did the Coffee with the Council almost every weekday in April. And basically what it was the council introduced to us a topic called Is-ness. And we had many different conversations with them, messages from them throughout April about Is-ness. At this point, let's see, we started on April 2nd. This is from April 11th. So we're a week and a half in at this point. And at this point, this is the second day in a row that the council has taken us on a journey in order to encompass and understand kind of outside of the mind, kind of deeper in the heart's knowing, this concept of isness. So what we're doing today is a really powerful journey called The Journey Above the Earth to Witness All That Is. And for anyone who remembers this, Carrie, you might remember this, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. This was incredibly potent. So we're continuing to, these reprises throughout May are basically like little study groups where we watch the video. Occasionally I'll stop and provide extra intuitive commentary, or we'll stop it if you guys have a question or something. Oh, you missed this one? Oh, very cool, Jennifer. You get to attend. You get to be present for this then. Yes, that's why you're back, Carrie. This one was super powerful. But in the case of the journeys, I basically go on the journey with you. I'm a co-participant, and we just follow the council's guidance. If you've never been on an energetic journey before with me or any other teacher, really, it's one of my specialties, one of my favorite things to do. If you're not a super visually oriented person, please don't worry about it. Simply just listen to the descriptions, feel into what feelings the descriptions bring up into you. So if you're more of a sensing person, because in a lot of ways I am visual, but I'm also really strongly sensing kind of person. So I more feel the energy and feel the emotions associated with the descriptions. Also, if you are a super visual person, just do your best to just trust your intuition. Your intuition might bring in a slightly different interpretation, different imagery, or a different sense, or a different feeling. The journey might refer to, we might meet a being or see a person or something like that. And even though in the instruction or the direction of the journey, it might say a certain type of person, trust your intuition, allow it to show you what you need to see. Sometimes people will see family members, sometimes they'll see one of their guides. It's really, your intuition is sort of a partner in the co-creation during the journey. And so nothing's gone wrong. If you actually can't see or sense or feel anything, nothing's wrong. Don't panic. Just do your best to stay centered in your heart space, because energetic journeys are truly one of going into the heart and not the mind. So do your best to let go of any analyzing or any attempting to interpret anything. If we need to do any interpreting, we can always ask the council for more input after we do the journey, which is something that we occasionally do. Let it flow, Carrie says. Jennifer says, I have, and I love to travel. I do love to travel too. I'm very visual and feel so, I am so excited to see what comes up. Yes. So anything could come up. So it looks like the council is just about to get going. Let's check this out. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, our dearest beloved friends. We greet you from the energetic realms where we love and celebrate each and every single experience and sensation you have in your body. We celebrate and love each and every single emotion that flows through your very being. And we celebrate and love you no matter how you feel about yourself or the things that you are experiencing in your life. Good day, happy Friday, indeed. This is session 8, 8 being a beautiful magical number. In some cultures, it means infinity. In others, it means prosperity and abundance. And in others, it's just a cool looking number. So as you can see, everything in life is about perspective, context, assigned meaning. Nothing itself inherently has any meaning unless it is assigned and agreed upon, either by at least one individual or by a collective of individuals. For indeed, this is how things come to have meaning in society, is when enough individuals are individually assigning meaning and agreeing upon it on a collective basis, then it indeed becomes a collective agreement. So there is no such thing as a collective agreement without individual definitions and assigned meanings. Do you understand what we are saying? That is a good question. Does anybody not understand that? We haven't started the journey yet, so apparently this is their intro. There is no collective belief system without the contribution of the individual assignment of belief that we each make. I've once heard from another group of guides, or another channel who channels a group of guides, that Only about 30%, 33% of the population as a whole, that's all that's needed to shift a collective belief. When 33% of the population changes their belief around something, that's when it ripples out and makes an entire change, a shift energetically, collectively. Isn't that wild? You don't need a majority. That's what's fascinating about that to me, because 30% is not a majority. Yeah, about a third of the population. There is no belief system than what we individually believe. Absolutely, Carrie. Yes. I mean, think about it. Come up, say, population, your child. Yeah, spell checker. I'm my autocorrect is my worst enemy sometimes. Yes, so let's say, what's something that when you look outside of yourself at the rest of the world, you think is the current belief of, humanity as a collective? Yeah, if we're creating our own reality, Carrie says, then that includes everything. Yes, there is, but remember, there's subtle nuances and often paradoxes. So even though we individually are creating our reality through our perspectives, through our perception, through our belief systems, through what we're thinking, what we're focusing on, it may be that certain beliefs and thoughts are also believed and thought by other individuals. And therefore, vibrationally, energetically speaking, if we just think about the frequency that is generated by those different beliefs, they're in alignment. So that's how a collective agreement is made. But it's made through the contribution of individual beliefs and thoughts. So I think what I'm trying to say is, there's no such thing as this is how it is for everyone. This is one reason I don't like statistics necessarily. They're fun because I like math, but they don't necessarily, even the one that I said, 30% or a third of the population is a statistic. That's a fun one because it's something I believe. But like when doctors throw out statistics and, all sorts of stuff, it's only a statistic because in that particular group that was observed, that was the percentage amount that was observed of for that particular group, right? So when they come to you and they say something like, well, 90% of the people don't recover from this particular situation, whatever it is, health situation, financial situation, relationship situation, well, that's just 90% of the people. That doesn't mean that's true. It doesn't make it a fact. It makes it common. Think about that for a moment. Just because something is agreed upon by a large number of people, it doesn't make it a fact. It just makes it common. It's a common belief. It doesn't have to be true. It doesn't even make it probable. You make it probable. Jennifer hates statistics also. Carrie, Carrie, maybe you have to reload the app. You got it. Okay, you're good. You're back. All right, let's continue to see. Any other questions about that? It's very subtle. And in certain ways, what I've said is contradictory. What the council's saying is contradictory to what is culturally believed right now, right? Why are certain laws the way they are? Because it's culturally accepted? No, because every single individual who culturally accepts that has bought into that with their belief system. That's the only way agreements come about, is if every single individual is also believing or thinking the same thing. It's really fascinating. All right, onward we go. There's no such thing as societal collective agreements without the individual. So it is truly an important piece to understand. And again, this always boils down to your power of choice. It is absolutely essential that at this time, and this time has been labeled by some as the time of choosing, so it is very appropriate and apt that we speak about this on a regular basis with you, for we wish for you to feel the sense of who you truly are in any given moment. And as we did remind several days ago, when you are considering something that you have found to be a habit, please stop for a moment and realize if you are aware of it, it is no longer a habit, it is a choice. It may be an unconscious choice or a conscious choice, but it is still a choice. Now, the more you become aware of that choice and then can claim that as your own choosing, you begin to say things like, I chose to go to bed late at that time, at that day. I chose to sleep in. I chose to arrive late to my employment. I chose not to speak my truth in that moment. I chose to allow that particular situation to unfold the way that it did, for better or for worse. It is all a choosing, my dear friends. And some of these different possibilities of choosing may be difficult to grasp that it was a choice, but there is unconscious and conscious choice. We will begin with that today, for we would like to perform sound. There we go. I had muted my mic. That was a really, did you notice how intentional they were with the words with that? Like how there was like, it's fascinating to listen. It's weird sometimes to watch myself channeling, but it's also fascinating from sort of just, like sort of taking it all in, like the way they changed their cadence, right? When they were bringing across certain topics, they slowed down, they punctuated almost each and every word, right? That whole power of choice, right? So it's really potent one. I actually want to rewind. I don't have a good rewind tool, so let me see. I chose to arrive late to my employment. So it is very appropriate and apt that we speak about this on a regular basis with you, for we wish for you to feel the sense of who you truly are in any given moment. And as we did remind several days ago, when you are considering something that you have found to be a habit, please stop for a moment and realize if you are aware of it, it is no longer a habit, it is a choice. It may be an unconscious choice or a conscious choice, but it is still a choice. Now, the more you become aware of that choice and then can claim that as your own choosing, you begin to say things like, I chose to go to bed late at that time, at that day. I chose to sleep in. I chose to arrive late to my employment. I chose not to speak my truth in that moment. I chose to allow that particular situation to unfold the way that it did, for better or for worse. It is all a choosing, my dear friends. And some of these different possibilities of choosing may be difficult to grasp that it was a choice, but there is unconscious and conscious choice. So let's take that for a moment. Write in chat if there's something, a behavior or a pattern of behavior or thought that you have been practicing where, having heard what the council just said, you can now see that it was a choice. But up until this point, you might have been viewing it as random, or you might have even been feeling a little discouragement or victimization around it, right? One of my most powerful examples is how sometimes I will stay up late. In the past, I've felt as though that just happened, as though I had no control over it. I've felt as though, or I've thought as though, I felt guilty for letting time slip away, or I felt guilty for not honoring my commitment to go to bed at a certain time, right? So it was all the ways of thinking about it ended up feeling negative. However, I started to learn that there was a moment at some point in the evening where I made a choice. I chose not to. I chose not to honor my bedtime that night. Why? Because I was having fun. Or maybe I wasn't tired yet. Or maybe I knew I could sleep in the next morning. I chose to not follow my normal schedule. It didn't just happen. It was a choice. Now, I might have made it really, really quickly. I might have made it in a sort of semi-unconscious way, but I still made it in that. I still made that choice. So think of an example, throw it out in chat. Let's just all share really briefly. If you don't understand this concept, let me know. Jennifer says, I love that one. I chose to allow that to unfold. I chose to not share my truth in that moment. That one was a powerful example. Jennifer says, I chose to allow someone else's opinion about my gifts to keep me from living my truth. You chose, in that case, you chose their beliefs over yours. It's not a judgment. It's not a criticism. It's just a recognition of that moment that you chose this versus that. Or yes, exactly. You agree. So you understand. Perfect. Anybody else? Other examples? Is this making sense? Is this not making sense? Ooh, April says, yep, this is empowering. Andrea, my friend, this is so good. Thank you for the reframe. Very empowering. Yeah, super cool. Hi, sweetheart. Good to see you. Nice. Well, you can see me. Good to see your bubble and your text. Tatiana says, it makes air of sense. That was probably an autocorrect. Makes all the sense. Yes. It makes a lot of sense, indeed. Gotta love autocorrect with typing. Throw out examples. Let's have a few more examples and then we'll continue on because we still haven't even gotten to the journey yet. We're just in the juiciness of their sort of intro message. Thanks, Tatiana, for the roll on the floor laughing emoji. Where else can you see that it was a choice in an area of life where, for whatever reason, no reason even necessary, but where you have been not viewing it as a choice? I chose to eat that extra piece of pizza. You chose to eat that extra whatever. I chose to have that sugary treat. I chose to not respond to that person's message. Whatever it is. I'm the one giving the examples right now, but I want to hear from you guys. Yes? No? Maybe? Yeah, you don't even need to have a because. Carrie says, I chose to allow society to tell me who to marry, what to be in my life. Wow. Thank you for sharing that, Carrie. And even, that was big. Even consider, there might be a more flowing way to even rephrase that. It might actually, I mean, this is not obviously where you're at today in your life, right? But it wasn't so much that society was telling you who to marry. You chose to agree with society's view of marriage. And there isn't anything wrong with that choice, except that that wasn't in alignment with who you believe and know you are, right? April says, I chose to say no today to run in an errand for my mother. Is that, April, is running errands for your mother something that you have been saying no to and not recognizing it as a choice? Amber says, I chose to sleep the mornings away largely whilst without employment. Yeah. The beautiful thing about saying, I chose to do this thing that and particularly ones, I chose to do this thing that I feel bad about. When you say, I chose to do that, we're taking ownership of it, right? We're reclaiming our power. Yes, of course we chose to do that. And it's a lot, for me personally, maybe hopefully for you guys too, it's a lot harder to feel bad about something or to beat up on myself when I'm acknowledging that I chose that. It didn't just happen. It wasn't random. I'm not a victim. I chose that. And the cool thing about acknowledging that I chose it, even if it's something that I feel icky, unky, gunky, yicky with, if it's even that horrible feeling about, if I recognize that I chose it, in that very moment, I'm also acknowledging that I have the power to choose differently. That is the beauty of saying, I chose fill in the blank, rather than I have a habit of whatever, dating unavailable people, or I have a habit of overeating at every meal, or no, it's not a habit. You're choosing. I have a habit of not believing in myself. No, you're choosing to not believe in yourself. You're actually not even not believing in yourself. You're believing in your not self more than you're believing in who you really are. Chew on that one as well, because there is no such thing as lack. So there is no not believing. There's believing in something. If you're not feeling abundant, you are actually abundant in the feeling of lack. Gotta love paradoxes. Yeah, Jennifer says, Amber, I feel you on that one. April says, I used to say yes when I wanted to say no. Well, that's different. We're not exactly talking about that, although the power of choice can certainly help empower saying no when you really want to say no. Yeah. Johnny says, I chose the acceptance of a tribe over what was best for me. Cool. You guys are going way bigger than I meant. I'm just trying to keep it really small. I mean, we can go to any profundity that you want, but I'm just trying to keep it small in terms of like patterns, just small, little, simple patterns, daily patterns, because when we recognize it in the daily patterns, like sleep patterns, eating patterns, conversational patterns, just little things that we do every day, or that are a little bit more frequent, rather than the big ones that tie into self-worth and all that stuff. We can look at those too, but when we look at the little ones and start to say, oh, I chose to go to bed late that night, it's so much easier to practice with the little ones, right? They have less of an emotional charge. They have less of an emotional sting. They're just sort of there. And that actually, by working with some of the smaller, less charged things in life, as we begin to shift and I'll have ha-has and breakthroughs like, I chose this. When we do that, we're actually exercising that spiritual muscle so that when we go to look at the bigger things with the bigger emotional charges, like around self-worth or abundance or any lack in our lives, right? When we practice it at the small little baby step levels, we're exercising that spiritual muscle. We're exercising our power of choice. And we might think it's insignificant. Oh, when I'm recognizing my power to choose about my bedtime, that may be insignificant, but I've practiced acknowledging that choice. Here's the cool thing. You don't even have to change the behavior. You don't even have to change the behavior to affect a vibrational change. You just have to acknowledge that you chose. And as you continually, more regularly acknowledge that you chose, even on the small little baby things, you are building that spiritual muscle. So when you go to look at the big things, you're like, ooh, I remember now I have the power to choose what I believe in. I maybe have the power now to look at this icky, yucky, sticky, gunky, emotionally charged belief system or thought pattern that I have and actually transform it because I've been practicing claiming choice over every morsel of food. Not every morsel, but eating something, going to sleep at a certain time, not responding to somebody, right? It's so potent when we work on the little level, like on the micro, right? And then it can, when we go out to the macro. Amelia says, I chose to keep obsessively thinking about things. Yes! Great example. You chose to keep obsessively thinking about things. Exactly. Was a beautiful example. That's a potent one too, Amelia. Thank you for that. Carrie says the greatest gift we were given was freedom of choice. Yes, it makes sense. Carrie, this makes so much sense, Greg. Thank you. Awesome. April says, I chose to eat all the salt and vinegar chips instead of eating veggies. Yeah, exactly. And you're laughing. And you have to laugh at it too, right? But yes, of course you chose to eat the salt and vinegar chips instead of eating veggies. That was the choice you made in the moment. You know, I chose to have 2 boxes of peanut M&Ms instead of 1, even though I know it upsets my tummy when I have too many peanuts. I still chose to eat the 2 boxes of peanut M&Ms. Carrie says, oh my good. Greg, this is gobsmacking. Yeah, it is. Anna says, where is the chat going on? Where is this chat going on? We're just talking about the power of choice, Anna. I don't know where it's going on. Good morning, Jojo. Nice to see you. Hey, Peter Brook. You guys are coming in as we've just been listening to the council's message from April 11th, and we're about to do the journey. Oh, it froze for you, Anna. Yes, it will happen. Sometimes your device will just freeze. Sorry to hear that. Okay, you can see it all though. Anyways, I'm going to leave you guys with that bit there, and we'll continue with the council. We will begin with that today, for we would like to perform an exercise, if you will, another journey of sorts. So we invite you to close your eyes. All right, let's do this. Placing your feet flat on the floor, and just turn your mind's eye to the pattern of your breathing. It matters not what that pattern is, whether it is incredibly deep, incredibly shallow, natural for you, but just find a comfortable rhythm of breathing for yourself. Place your left hand on your beautiful heart chakra. And as you've done with dear Greg many times, repeat after us, tapping your hand gently on the chakra, the palm of your hand, that is. Heart, teach my mind. Heart, teach my mind. Heart, teach my mind. I am here. I am here. I am here right now. You find yourself standing outside your current abode, whatever building, house, apartment, condo, structure, hut, tent, vehicle you currently live in. You are standing outside and you are observing your abode. Whether it is yours or not is immaterial, for it is where you are sleeping, where you are resting, where you lay your head every single evening to return to merge back with Source. So it is your home. And you are simply being the mindful observer. In this particular energetic realm that you find yourself observing your abode, you find that the colors are incredibly vibrant. The blues are the bluest of blues, almost azure, if you will. The greens are practically an emerald. Yellows look like sunbursts. Oranges look like the beautifulness of the orange fruit itself. Reds, as red as the reddest apple you've ever seen, etc. Take in all of these vibrant different colors. Pay attention, friends. Observe the various details of your very abode. and take it all in with a sense of appreciation in this very moment. It may not be a large amount of appreciation. It does not matter the magnitude. But simply just acknowledge, this is my current home. It just is. You may have aspects of the home that you dislike. You may have aspects of the home that you enjoy. You may not feel connected to any of it, for it may not even feel like your home. But this is currently where you are residing. Allow all the different thoughts and stories and analysis regarding your abode to slip away and simply be the mindful observer, being present outside of your abode, being present with this building or this shape or shelter that gives you shelter. And in your mind's eye or physically, dear friends, bow in thanks for the service that this particular abode provides you in this very time in life. And as you bow, you find that you're beginning to float above your house. You are floating ever higher, and you begin to see your neighborhood, the street upon which you are placed, the very subsection of the city, or the village, or the town in which you live. And as you continue to ascend and float higher and higher, you are seeing more and more. You are seeing the county or the state. You begin to see outlines of the country as you ascend higher and higher. Continent, the island that you live on, until you have flown so high into the sky, above the clouds, all the way up into space, and you can see the entirety of the school called the planet Earth. In your mind's eye, close your eyes and turn on your mind's ears. Listen closely for the sounds of planet Earth. You hear the chanting of the Tibetan monks in Tibet. You hear the bustle and hustle on the streets of Delhi. You hear all the different exotic animal sounds in the jungles, in the tropical forests of Brazil. You hear the tears of a mother who has lost a child and the bearing stage. You hear the pleading of individuals who have recently had a spiritual experience anew, do not know what to think or what to do with themselves. You hear the music from Bangladesh. You hear the drums from the Congo. You can hear the sound of a polar bear bathing in the Arctic waters, growling and splashing. You begin to hear all of these simultaneously at once. At first it is too much to bear, for there is a cacophony of sound flooding into your consciousness. But gradually, as you are patient and present with this, you begin to recognize this as the very musical orchestration of life itself. And all of this is unfolding as you float high above the planet, and none of this is under any of your control. None of this is necessarily directly any of your doing, and yet it all is happening. It is all unfolding here and now on your very watch as you observe. And there is a certain chaotic yet semi-organized beauty to the orchestration of all these different sounds of life. It is not necessarily reminding you of a classical symphony per se, but you are beginning to feel and hear the rhythm of how all of this flows, ebbs and flows back and forth, and you are doing so by hearing and witnessing everything in its natural state, here and now. Some of you may be overwhelmed still by this experience. Some of you may simply not be hearing a thing, and others may have this incredible sense of rapture as you make a deep connection with all that is currently unfolding on the planet. And you realize that although you are a small and singular individual perspective expression of Source, so is everyone and everything else, and within that there is this incredible beauty. Millions and billions and trillions of different individual perspectives of Source expressed individually and uniquely on the planet at the same time. This indeed is a grand orchestration and a synchronization that there is absolutely no way that you could be individually responsible for all of this. And within that realization, there is a deep sense of relief. You think to yourself, I get it. Since I am not responsible for anything other than myself, indeed, that is why the power of choice is so important and so essential, for it is within my very own individual, uniquely perspected choices that I exist. Those choices come from my unique perspective, my unique expression of Source and all that is, not from another individual's unique expression or perspective. They come from mine. I relish having the power of my own choices. And as you begin to recognize the enormous power of this particular awareness, the earth suddenly replicates as you float above it, and replicates again and again and again and again and again, and it continues to replicate until you are absolutely surrounded, floating in space, surrounded by hundreds of thousands of millions of different planet Earths. These are all the different quote-unquote Earths that exist in different timelines and parallel realities, every single one of them filled with billions and trillions of different unique perspectives and individual choices. The grand orchestration of it all is truly profound. You realize that at any given moment on an energetic level, you have a choice of which Earth you wish to live on, for there are a whole variety of different aspects and experiences available to you. And yet at the end of the day, if you were to really truly make a choice, you would still choose this life experience that you are currently having. For it is the one that you agreed upon when you first came to be in this body. But as you float high above these hundreds of thousands of millions of different instantiations of Earth, indeed, some of them represent pasts, your very pasts. Some of them represent your future. For energetically speaking, they all exist in the same now, in the same current moment, as do you. You realize there is a deep and profound beauty to how all of this synchronously unfolds, and that if you simply let go of your attachments, your stories, your longings, your yearnings, your expectations, any particular definitions or agreements that you find upsetting, disappointing, discouraging, weighing you down, if you simply just let them go, you are there, as is, present with all that is. For you see, our dear friends, the mind can only go so far in comprehending is-ness. It is truly something that you must attune your heart to so that you can experience is-ness and know it. And you do so purely and only and solely in the now. You realize that as you are taking responsibility for the choices that you make, it is far easier to allow others, as you witness them from floating high above all of these earths, it is far easier to allow others their own choices, understanding that they have their own path and their own agreements and definitions, and that they do not have to be in agreement with you. There is nothing in life that says that everyone must be in agreement. And there is absolutely nothing in life that says that everybody must be in agreement with you. The only agreement with you that matters is you, with you. You find that you are ready to return, feet back on the ground, and you slowly descend. Play with the descent, fly if you will, spread your wings if you will, your arms out wide. Perhaps you will twirl your way down back to the surface. Perhaps you will pirouette like a ballet dancer. Perhaps you will simply float as though you are traveling on a beautiful soft cloud or pillow. Whatever way you wish to return back to the surface of the planet, you are doing so. It is with ease, no effort. You are simply just returning into the gravitational pull until your feet land one at a time, boom, boom, gently on the ground, standing before your beautiful abode. I choose to go inside now, you think to yourself, and you begin to proceed to do that. And as you move through the building and find your body, take a moment, dear friends, be the mindful observer. Look at your body. Observe how incredibly peaceful it is in this moment, freed of the mind's burdens. In this moment, your body is vibrant, whole, and sound. And even though you have left energetically to go on a journey, here sits your body, safe and sound and deeply loved. And when you're ready, at your time of choosing, return into your body in whatever fashion or manner you so choose. As your spirit settles back into your physical form, become aware of how your shoulders feel, how your legs are feeling. Reposition and stretch anything that might need it. And we will allow you several moments to reintegrate and return back into your total wholeness. But dear friends, we hope that this journey has been helpful for at least broadening your perspective on a variety of levels. There is much that occurred and that we experienced within a short period of time. So allow yourselves the weekend, our dear friends, to integrate this particular experience of is-ness. This is not the only way to experience is-ness. There is many others. But we applaud you at this time. We celebrate you. For now on the 8th day, and within this journey, we have completed our introduction to Is-ness. And so we will be exploring more of this, more deeply, as we proceed with Coffee with the Council. And indeed, other topics may or may not come up. We do not know, for this is truly a co-creation that is occurring with our very gathering together. We thank you for this time today. And as always, we love and celebrate you from the energetic realms for all of who you truly are, whether you are awake and aware of it all or not. And until next week, we bid you adieu. Welcome back. Hello, hello. Wow. Oh my God. Yeah, Carrie, wow. Hey, Hannah, good to see you, sweetheart. Oh my God. At the part where we were up above the planet and we were listening to all the sounds, I started really crying when we heard the tears of the mother who lost a child in bearing. Wow. It was so moving. How you guys doing? Take a moment. You might be pretty gobsmacked. This is a huge one. Rose says, me too, Greg. Yeah, and I also felt the joy of the polar bear playing. And I felt the chaos in the streets of Bangladesh, and I could hear taxis in New York City, and it was crazy. Could hear gentle music playing. I don't even know where it was. Wow. Carrie says, yes, the sounds are very powerful, moving, and sometimes very sad. Yeah. Yeah. My God. Oh. Whew. Take as much time as you need, my friends. We're going to go a little bit over time today. Wow. Carrie says, I'm glad I'm not responsible. Yeah, right. Rose's grandmother playing so gently with her baby grandchild. Oh, how sweet. Oh, Ro, that is such a sweet image. I can feel it. It's lovely. Joanne says, thought I had missed it all, so that was a wonderful surprise and just filled me with awe. Yeah, your and Peterbrook's timing were perfect because we hadn't even started the journey. Yeah, wow. Feel free to share what your journey was like if you're ready for words or ready for typing. That's not always the case, and it's okay. Just allow it to be wherever you're at. You might just be in all the feelings of it, or it might not have even had any impact on you. But most of the regulars like to usually share about what their journey was like. Hannah says, it makes me realize that where I am in this moment is where I need to be. Wonderful. So much going on in this world at all times, but my responsibility is to myself. Absolutely. Wonderful. Wow. I'm like in a whole nother vibe right now. Wow. An aha moment indeed, says Carrie. Absolutely. Joanne says, agreed, Hannah. Was just writing something very similar. Wow. It was so powerful to be floating up above all the different instantiations of Earth, all the different possible timelines and parallel reality Earths. And just to know that, and like you guys have been saying about not being responsible for other people and just for, just to myself and to my own choices. There's just the acknowledgement of that I'm responsible for my own choices. And that's the only thing that really matters is so incredibly empowering. Peter Brooks says, was nice to listen to your journey, Greg. I don't have the capacity to take a journey at the moment. Health reasons. Still appreciate all your experiences. Oh, okay. No problem, dear. Joanne says, yes, and to hear and smell the different places was very beautiful. Yeah. Just to have the awareness of all that is going on. I mean, in a certain way, it's like, wow, look at life doing its thing, or listen to life doing its thing, right? It doesn't need me. Life doesn't need me to get in the mix and to control things and to guide them and to steer them. It doesn't need my insistence. Life is doing its thing. And it's doing its thing at such a scale that is just mind-boggling. And all I have to do is be concerned with my power of choice. I can do that. I can do that. Peter Book, I'm sorry to hear about your health reasons. Would anyone else like to share? Does anyone have a question about the journey they went on? Something maybe that they struggled with or were confused about from the journey? This is not time for non-journey related questions necessarily. I sense that the council might also want to say a little bit more. Hannah says, I have been feeling for a while that it's so important to find pockets of peace and stillness in amongst such a busy world. Yes, I agree. Joanne says, I felt very isolated these last couple of years, and this brought the world to me, which was so amazing. Wow. Wow. Yeah. Hadn't even thought of that. That's so cool. I love that for you. Amber, pockets. Love that. Wow, it's a Joanne. Splendid. Yeah. Yeah, I can feel the council wanting to say some more. So let's see what they have to say, and then we'll move towards wrapping up. Oh. Oops. Body needed some oxygen. Let's try that again. Dear guides and counsels. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, dear beloved friends. We greet you from the energetic realms where we love and celebrate each and every pain in your body, each and every movement of emotion, each and every sound you hear and sight you see, for it is all the beautiful symphony of life. And we hope that this journey today provided an opportunity or an example to at least perceive at a minimal level, if not a greater span of perception, this very flow of life indeed. Now, you might be wondering, how does my own individual power of choice relate to all of this? Well, the purpose particularly of this specific journey was so that you could recognize that you have as many choices open and possible to you as there are sounds currently happening in unison on your very planet. As there are Earths of alternate timelines, of alternate parallel realities, of alternate dimensions. You have all of those choices available to you. One of the absolute worst things in terms of human experience that you can ever truly feel is that you have no choices. Understand, dear ones, that when you feel this way, when you feel the walls closing in, so to speak, when you feel locked into a certain perspective, when you feel stuck, when you feel trapped, dear ones, this is just a belief that is in your way. It is not fact. For it is not even reality. For the very life that unfolds around you is simply composed of your own reflection. As Bashar so often reminds us, when you are looking in the mirror and you see that the reflection in the mirror is frowning, you do not try to reach into the mirror in your bathroom and adjust the face, the facial muscles of the reflection in the mirror. Do you know? You know that the frown that you see in the mirror is indeed a reflection of your own frown. The only way to change the reflection's frown is for you to change your own frown. Life is no different than a reflection in a mirror. For everything that you experience unfolds from you, from your very perspective. So when you are feeling these moments of smallness, when you are feeling these moments of isolation, lostness, stuckness, the walls closing in, think on this particular journey. Think about all the different sounds across the entire planet Earth that are occurring in this very moment. You don't even need to spread your awareness that far. Indeed, you can stop for a moment in your very own abode and listen to all the different sounds. Is the air conditioning suddenly shutting down? Is the computer fan whirring at this moment? Do you hear a loved one elsewhere in the house making movement sounds, or perhaps singing or talking to themselves? Do you hear the birds chirping outside? Can you hear and feel your heartbeat? All of these things exist in the very same moment as whatever you are thinking. Each one of them can be a representation, a reminder to you that there are infinite possibilities and infinite choices. And therein, dear ones, lies the true power of choice. Yes, indeed, the power of choice does indeed lie in the choosing, but the power increases as you recognize the limitlessness of possible perspectives. If you do not like the perspective that you are currently holding, you have the power to choose a different one. You may not realize it right away. Be compassionate, be patient with yourself. Allow it to be the way it is. But dear ones, do not become convinced, as much of society has tried to convince you, that this is the only option, that this is the only reality, that this is the only truth. But there are many, many truths, and they are all real to the individuals who are perceiving them. Do you wish to believe differently? Then look for evidence that supports that different belief. Remember the multitude of options, perspectives, and choices that are available to you, even when you can't see them. You could be in the middle of a situation and where you only see one possible way through it. But in the moment that you stop and say, well, yes, look, I am currently choosing to see only one possibility. I happen to know, either because the council told me, or because dear friends have reminded me, or simply because I know and believe it, that there are a multitude of other possibilities, perspectives, perceptions, and choices available to me. In this moment, I can't see them. That's okay. I'm okay with not being able to see them. However, I will remind myself that there are a multitude available to me. And in the recognition and remembrance of that multitude, there is solace, because I know that eventually, if I'm willing, if I'm ready, I will be able to find a different way of thinking, a different belief to choose in. And therein will I shift my reality. Therein will I shift my perception. So, dear ones, do not press yourselves. Do not make it a task list. Do not make it something on your to-do list. Find a different way of thinking. No, you don't write that down on your task list now, do you? You simply know that you have limitless possibilities, even when you can't see them. We will leave you with this today. Thank you for going on this journey with us. It truly was quite enjoyable to be floating with you all above all the different earths. For we were there with you very much, not just in spirit, but energetically. For this is very much the experience that we have from our energetic perspective. We send you great love today. We celebrate every single choice that you make, for every single choice empowers you to continue to expand and connect with who you really are. And this indeed is what drives life to expand itself. And for this, we thank you, we love you, and we will see you again soon. Oops, there we go. Ah, well, that was fun. Somehow I knocked my volume all the way up to full. You guys still there? Oh, wow. You're welcome, Carrie. They are bowing in thanks to you as well. Anybody want to share about that message? Wow. I'm all warm. Whew. Dear friends. Oh, good, Melia. Am I saying your name right? Is it like Amelia, but without the A in front? Melia? I am so glad it resonated a lot with you. Dear friends, I have some new tools. If you have found this live stream today, the journey with the council, or the message that they just shared, if you found this helpful, please do consider giving me a follow. I would love it if you did follow. If not, no biggie. But following, as you know, is one of the greatest ways to stay in connection with us and to support us as teachers. I am also, we're shooting for 1,000 followers by June 1st. So if you haven't yet followed so you can get notified about any of the upcoming sessions, please consider to do so. You can use that pop-up. Joanne says, I'm still sitting here absorbing it. Yeah, absolutely. Rose says, thanks for that, Greg and Council. That was so comforting and supportive to hear. Oh, I'm so glad. That is so sweet. Also, we'll have another little fun little pop-up here. Here is tomorrow's Coffee with the Council Reprise. Tomorrow, they're going to be discussing how Is-ness holds no duality. That, if I recall, was a really interesting conversation that we had with them. Connor says, sometimes I'm overwhelmed by choices, but the heart always knows the answer. Yes, indeed. Very cool. Yeah, so feel free, if you haven't signed up to attend the session tomorrow afternoon, you can do so with my little pop-up there. Yeah, they just provided these new tools. Well, they turned them on last week, but they only just started today with our ability to actually use them in a live stream. So they're super, super fun. I have others available too. And let's see what else I have. The new ones I added today aren't there yet. So if you were so touched, if you found great value in this and you wish to express that through an energetic exchange of a donation, there's another new pop-up that makes it super easy for you. I always appreciate donations, never required, but do bear in mind, it is one of the most powerful ways that you can support us as teachers. In my case, I mostly do lives. So I don't have a lot of tracks or any courses right now. So every single donation really means a lot to me. And I always appreciate when you share your abundance with me, because truly there is, as the council just told us, there is limitless possibilities. So very, very cool. I am hoping that I can make some other new pop-up cards for other things like tracks. I did make some today so that I could share with you guys some tracks. Yes, Carrie says, Hannah, that is where the answers are, the heart. That is fun. So true. Any questions about what we've been through today? I know that, I mean, Joanne is probably speaking for everybody, saying that I'm still sitting here absorbing it all. So I have a feeling that's where we're all at, because I'm also just like, wow, that was powerful. It was a lot to absorb. Thank God I record these, right? If you ever like, what happened in that session? I want to revisit it. There is a way to do that. You simply go to my profile and follow my teacher's link. I upload all of my lives. I record all my lives and then I upload them to a website which shall not be named, because, yeah, but they're available for you guys as a library of replays, which can be really, really wonderful. Yeah, it's fun to re-listen to those. Awesome, my friends. All right. I think that, look at that. It is 2:22 here in Southern Utah, and we're at 1 hour, 22 minutes. I love it. Super cool. I love repeating numbers. I think I'm done. Thank you so much for being here. I look forward to seeing everybody again at whichever next one they're able to attend. I'll be back tomorrow. There's just so much here. I think that this topic of Is-ness, I think we'll have plenty of opportunities down the road to investigate this further. The council is really sharing a lot with us in this regard, but tomorrow will be, you're welcome, guys. So thank you to you, and thank you for thanking the council. Yes. Melius is almost midnight here, choosing to go sleep late, but it was worth it. Awesome. Great example. Yeah. So we'll see whoever comes up tomorrow. Thank you so much for being here. It means a lot to me. There is really nothing more important to me than gathering with other people in order to explore these topics and have these moments. And I love that you're interested in coming and visiting with the council and listening to them and listening to me. I really, really appreciate that. It means a lot to me and it touches my heart. So thank you for that. Thank you for following. Thank you for donating, Ro. Thank you so much for your donation. Thank you for just being you. Let's just all celebrate each other just being ourselves. Yeah, super cool. You're welcome, Carrie, dear big sister. I will see you guys later. Have a lovely rest of your day at whatever point your day is in. And love you very much. I'll see you guys soon.